Okay, welcome back. This is MDawg. We are here at Amber and we are fishing for, you guessed it, we're fishing for carp. It looks like we're going to have a pretty quick bite here on one of the rods. So, several people have talked about this particular bait combination here at Amber. One of the more recent ones I saw was someone that goes by Too Slow. And yeah, I'll show you the setup in just a second. Obviously, we're at 35-meter clip, which is pretty standard for 83 145. We're straight across from peg 1, not far from base. And though I am using PVA, which points to someone who has leveled up bottom fishing to 100, if you are fishing this spot and you're newer to carp fishing, I would just say this is a place where you can be fairly confident that you can make this place safe because, and I've talked about this before, if you can just sort of get ahead of the fish and sort of drive it to your left, then there's nowhere for it to go, so you won't get spooled. Now, if fish takes off to the right and you can't get in front of it, and bring it back, then yeah, you could be in trouble. All right, so here's one thing we want to keep a really close eye on, is how small the fish are on this middle rod. So we've got a couple things working against us. First of all, on the middle rod, but first of all, this is the first rod, and this is the recommended setup, by the way. This is what people are using. Now, a lot of people are using, of course, either large 1 hooks. Some people are using much bigger hooks, but I went with 1/0 just for fun. And then this is the PVA. So 18 honey cream pop-up, 22 cocos and cream pop-up, mountain honey dip, and then this PVA. It does have some crushed honey cream boilies in there. So this left rod is the recommended setup. Let's go ahead and get some, see if we can get some help with our comfort here in the rain at Amber. But based on this recommended setup, I've sort of made some adjustments on the middle and right rod. And if those end up not performing as well, I'll switch those to this setup as well. I just like to mix it up a little bit when I'm testing out a spot. Either I will do an exact replica of what the recommended setup is and see how I do in comparison, or I'll start messing around with the recommended setup and see if I can come up with something that's just as good or even better. So I'm just going to keep catching these carp, but as I have chance to, I will show you the setups we have. I think from what I've seen already, I already probably don't want to use this third setup, but again, I'm going to keep it in there until I have a chance, hopefully, to kind of talk you through the 3 setups. All of them are going to be classic pop-up rig. You could try different rig types if you wanted to get really if you really wanted to explore some variability or some other options with this spot. But as for right now, I've got classic pop-up on all 3. I just have a combination of different size boilies, as well as on this middle rod, we're actually using corn. So that's kind of the differences, but so far, really nice bite rate, although, again, haven't had a chance to show you the different setups. If the first rod keeps up in a similar fashion in terms of bite rate, which so far it seems like it has, then it's clearly going to be the way to set up this for this spot, because that has the biggest boilies on there, and so you're going to have your best chance at catching bigger fish. But if nothing else, I guess one thing that's worth considering is some of these smaller setups that I'm testing, if you don't have PVA, might be worth considering, because you can feed the water some other way and but still possibly do pretty well even though you don't have PVA. All right, what else can we do here to get some more comfort? Probably should have gone with the mulled wine, maybe. We can't be chugging all of our spitting. It's a long time for the next New Year's fair, isn't it? All right, Comfort's getting up there now. It's a nice sized fish right here. Lots of mirrors. I mean, I don't know for sure that this is a mirror, but mirror, linear, stuff that looks like mirror. This, I think this actually is a mirror, but no, yeah, that is a mirror. 14.4, that's a nice one. I guess overnight will slow down, but hey, these days I have the power of OBS to make that a lot less painful. Yeah, I think it's another mirror, so this is just mirror central right now. And by mirror, I mean linear. Okay, let's look at these setups. So I showed you the first setup, I showed you the PVA. Here's the second setup. So still the 18 size honey cream boilies, but we're using white, cocos and cream white as corn to go with this. So very similar, just instead of double boilies, we're using corn. And then on the third setup, we're still using, oh, I didn't realize we had 4/0 hooks. I actually need to change that. So next fish, I'll change that. But we're using smaller size boilies. Basically the 15 range boilies in both. So this should be a better bite rate, although I'm sort of crunching it with that huge hook size. And the first rod is good enough hook size that I actually think I'm already ready to switch this to the more standard setup. We'll keep the middle rod different for now, because so far it's been pretty good too, but that third rod, next fish, we're going to change that. Well, let's see what this fish is, but I think we're going to change it. Wait, does that have... I think that's a rare, y'all. And these are possible in this spot. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people have been fishing it. So mirror ghost carp, 6.2, very nice fish. And that was caught on the rig with the corn, which is cool. We got to get our lights on. I think that's a common carp. It looks so weird because I'm used to catching the mirrors, but yeah, that's a common. All right, so let's switch this back down to, actually, let's just put this on a large 1, which is more what I would think might be the best for this spot, but I already had that 1/0 on there, so I just kept it on there. All right, so this is the more recommended setup, very similar to what we have on the first rod, except we've got the large 1 hook instead of the 1/0 hook. Okay. All right, so that's going to be a common as well. What is our friction brake on? It's one of those, like, if it's a rare, it's not trophy size, but it would be so big that it would be worth a ton of XP if it's a rare. Now, if it's a common carp, it could be close to trophy size. I don't know how worn down my leaders and line and stuff are. Like, we definitely have a little wear and tear. I was just looking at that before we started fishing today. I need to make fresh leaders and all that, but... Alright, that's unfortunately just a regular... Definitely not going to be trophy size, but still a nice fish. And this was on the corn, 17.5 kilos. We will take that. So the only difference in this third rod now versus the first rod is that this third rod has a large one hook. The first rod has a 1/0 hook. And all three of them are now at 35 meter clip, casting right over there at peg 1. So we're halfway through our PVA bags, and we're only 14 minutes into fishing here, so it's probably going to require just over one batch of the 20-gram bags to fish an hour here. A little bit of a slowdown, but it's overnight, right? What do we expect? It's 2:30. Probably pick up again at 4:30. 4:30. We'll start seeing a little more consistent bites, but something's trying to come in right here. We'll take it. This late at night, I'm always thinking like, oh, is this probably a mirror carp? But we'll see. There's already been a lot of mirror carps here, although we have seen a few commons right recently before the overnight hours set in. This does look like a mirror carp. $13.1, we'll take it. Oof. All 3 lines. Getting some activity here. It's a pretty small carp, but it did go for a little bit of a swim there. He decided it was tired of obeying the rod tip, and it decided to just swim for a minute. Just a small little common. 6 kilo common. All right, sun's coming up. Got to get our sunscreen on, make sure we're prepared. Looks like all the carp came to our lines in the last few seconds. All right, we're ready. Let's bring them in. Ready for the day, folks. Might have been the smallest carp yet. Actually, I think there was a smaller mirror early on, but oh, this is even smaller. This is on the corn. Corn will bring in the smalls every once in a while. You almost hope this is like trophy crucian or something, right? No, it's going to be a little common. Once again, a common, I believe. It's a pretty nice fish. Is that true? Someone in the chat was just saying something about that there is no saltwater protection, or they didn't think there was any saltwater protection reels on bait casting reels. Is that true? By the way, this is a nice fish. I think I already said that, but it is in fact a nice fish. It's a leather too. 18.98 rare leather carp. We'll take it. I need to check some of my higher end bait casting reels to see if any of the ones I have saltwater protection. If that's true, then it just makes it less appealing to ever recommend that someone who's like leveling up and making gear decisions to ever go with bait casting until they are very well established. It almost puts bait casting in the sort of luxury category. I'm just not sure if that's true. I need to check that. If that is true, then yeah, and the reason why I say that is because you've got so much silver and fun to be had at Norway that you don't want to spend like several thousand silver on a nice bait casting setup that doesn't convert to something you could use at Norway when spinning or conventional reels do. Spinning obviously is the most versatile. So like these spinning reels I'm using now, technically not only can I fish with carp, but I could also throw them on something and fish in the sea, or troll with them or whatever. So that's just interesting, something I want to check out. Now that we are into the daytime, it is just a full-time job trying to keep up with these fish. I think we finally caught up. Another leather. Wow. I think this middle rod with the double corn and boilie has done really well. I think it has actually compared really nicely to the normal setups. What in the gibble? I guess it's just a little fella. He was like barely pulling the rod down. It's crucian. So I think it's interesting, and it's probably time of day, although that's weird. Like when we first started fishing here, and it was, by the way, absolutely insane with the bite rate and the quality. But, you know, that was 40 minutes ago, and it was like late afternoon, early evening. We probably started at just the right time. Now, if we had started at like 4 a.m., that also would have probably led to like 4 in-game hours of just incredible fishing. Man, it's bright out here. But since we've been here this long, I definitely feel like it has slowed down. We're still getting nice fish, 2 leathers. Although we've had 2 like miniature carp, 2 carp minis in a row here, which hopefully that doesn't continue. But it's 11:13 in the morning. Like I'm kind of skeptical that we're gonna have the best ending here, the last few minutes, just because things tend to slow down in the middle of the day. Not necessarily like the bite rate doesn't always slow down like too much, but sometimes it does, but the quality tends to slow down, right? I mean, we almost could have made it without making more ground bait. I'm actually now realizing it's slowed down that much. Yeah. I mean, what's going to end up happening? It's still going to be a really good place to fish for an hour. It's just I'm noticing the ups and downs of like different parts of this hour when it's been really good, and now it's not keeping up with how good it was earlier. But that doesn't mean that over the course of the hour it's still not going to be good. It looked like this spot even was sustaining longer than an hour for some people that were posting results here. It seemed like 2 hours even was pretty dang good. So all right, so we're finally getting another bite here. I mean, as you can see on the list, we're almost at an hour now. So it's actually quite amazing the difference in bite rate that we had in the beginning of this session versus now. And sure, like we're almost back to the starting point, so it probably will pick up a little bit, especially if we stayed and fished for a while moving into the evening again. that seemed to be a really good spot, good time for this spot. But yeah, a little disappointed in how the spot finished up. And I don't know if it would be worth like going back to the smaller baits during the daytime and just focusing on the larger baits and PVA and all that in the more prime times, in the late afternoon, evening, and then the early morning. I don't know. It might be worth playing around with some different rig types or bait approaches, because this spot, no matter what happens, you know, this spot was really good there for a while. But for how good it was, there's been some painful, I mean, look at this. We almost went 10 minutes between fish here during the daytime. You expect that overnight to a degree, but 10 full minutes, you know, or 9 minutes during the daytime, that is brutal. And again, we're at 57 minutes now, so we will just sit here another couple minutes, and then I will head back to town, and we'll just see how we did in this spot here at 83-145. Again, this is E4, and we were just casting straight across at a 35-meter clip. 2-peg one. Yeah, this is going to do it. Well, this spot just ended with a whimper. What a whimper. But we definitely had some really good moments here as well. All right, welcome back. We made it to town. So let's go ahead and turn in our 4-kilo mirror carp order. We'll get a quick 22 silver off of that. Doesn't look like there's anything else that's going to be relevant to this spot that we've been fishing at. But that's okay. Let's see how we did. Those leather carp and the mirror ghost carp will lead the way, I would imagine, in opportunity to make this a lucrative 368 plus 22 is 388. So still a very good session here at Amber. But like I said, it really died down. Yeah, there's the leather, mirror leather, the trifecta there at the top. But, you know, we did okay. Everything else adds up. 368 is great. It's just we were on pace for something really insane there for a while. But, you know, I would suspect that spot is worth sitting on right now, letting it rest at times, coming back to it. There's some really good rares coming out, as well as the possibility of some peaks of bite rate that are really good. So, all right, as always, folks, thanks for watching, and tight lines. Let me know if you end up fishing here, how you end up doing, but I will see you next time.